Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to the second lecture of the course. The topic name is a global environment of business and international trade procedures. So that we need to discuss about the economic environment in international business. The economic environment refers to the factors contributing to the country's attractiveness to foreign businesses. So it can differ from one nation to another, and better infrastructure, education, healthcare, technology, etc., are also often associated with high levels of economic development. The levels of economic activities combined with infrastructure, education, and the degree of government control affect the facets of doing a business. Usually, countries are divided into three main economic categories. That is, we can say that the more industrialized or developed, less developed or third world, and the newly emerging or industrial economies. So there are significant variations within each economic category, and overall, the more developed countries are very rich, the less developed are poor, and the newly industrializing are those moving from poor to rich. These distinctions are made based on the gross domestic product per capita. We can say that GDP. So, a business needs to recognize the economic development to operate in international markets successfully. While analyzing the economic environment, an organization intending to work in a particular business sector should consider the following aspects. And starting from the economic system to enter the business sector, stage and pace of economic growth, level of national GDP and per capita income, incidence of taxes, direct and indirect taxes, and available infrastructure facilities and the difficulties, availability of components, raw materials and their cost, sources of financial resources and their cost, availability of workforce, managerial and technical workers, their salary and the some of the wage structures also we need to consider here. So we know that how does the logistics help the environment, and we can say the know about the new type of logistics. We can say that the green logistics, also known as environment logistics, it refers to the sustainable policies and measures focusing on lowering the impact logistics has on the environment. This includes the configuration of processes, structures, systems, and equipment used in the transportation, distribution, and warehousing of goods. So that transportation currently amounts to half the global consumption of oil and almost 20 percentage the global consumption of energy, and close to 40 percentage is related to urban transportation. In fact, the International Energy Agency expects these numbers to double by 2050, mainly due to online shopping, because therefore the logistics industry must find a smarter and more innovative way to distribute merchandise while minding the balance between economic growth and the protection of natural resources. So you know that what is green logistics? And despite logistics not being known for a high level of sustainability as an industry, and the green logistics aim to gauge the carbon footprint of logistics operations, lower air or soil, sound, and water pollution, and use raw materials sensibly, so that the clients value and have a positive impression of companies that implement the green practices. However, it is extremely difficult to measure the environmental impact of the logistics processes and the carbon footprint of products. So, reaching the level of green logistics demand not only the money of companies but also the participation of governments via environmental incentives and the culture of clients. To reach the greener economy, so to speak, and the companies must choose how much they can modify their activities and include the environmental impact in their strategic and operational plans, which will be probably impact their business, as well as the challenges of finding models that let us balance different issues: reduction of cost, improvement of service levels, definition of an adequate inventory level, and the decrease of the carbon footprint of logistics operations. In the future, a major number of companies will measure the efficiency of the supply chain by their ability to integrate their traditional logistics goals, cost and service level, to the environmental impact. So, is there any sustainable alternatives available in the industries? We need to discuss about the sustainable alternatives. So that it has become increasingly urgent for this industry to invest in innovation to measure, analyze, and improve the carbon footprint via alternatives that help lower pollutions, such as these using alternative populations, system of vehicles, such as liquefied gas, hybrid, or electric vehicles. And the optimizing the management of fleets. Apart from buying vehicles that pollute less, it is necessary to use the systems to plan routes and prioritize cargoes consolidation. So taking advantages of intermodal transportation, in other words, we can say that using two or more means of transportation to move loads to try to increase the competitiveness and lower pollution, and using photovoltaic cells and other renewable energy systems at the logistics centers, which will lower the use of electricity and the environmental impact. And you know that unifying shipments to lower the number of trips, and setting up warehouses or booths where freighters can drop dozens of parcels at a single point, including the environmental criteria and the restocking policies, product characteristics, manufacturing processes, and location of suppliers, and implementing measures to lower the output and increase the recycling of waste from warehouses, improving inventory management processes, and reverse logistics. So, can we explain about that the examples of sustainable projects? The next one is we need to discuss about some examples. So, few companies working with European Intuitive initiative and involving multiple sectors, aiming to inspire the collaboration of members of the supply chain to lower the emission of carbon dioxide by 20% in 5 years in the logistic processes of 500 certified companies in Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Switzerland. The participating companies will also lower their cost, increase their transparency and traceability, and benefit from the exchange of knowledge. Meanwhile, other companies are testing the option of using drones for light parcel shipments at close the distances. This will simplify access to remote zones and avoid traffic. And another perfect example for proximity logistics is to offer cheap rents for last mile deliveries using freelance bike riders as a distribution channel. Likewise, some European cities already have urban mini hubs or else mini warehouses offering deliveries by foot or bike to reach places where automated vehicles are not allowed. So the next one is we need to discuss about the international trade procedures. We need to understand about the import and export process and procedures. So what about the basic export procedures? Number one is market research and setting objective distribution. It has been divided by the selecting target markets, methods of exploration and channels, and setting foreign market objectives on pricing and terms. And second one is trade regulations. It has been combined with the export regulations and requirements, overseas import regulations and requirements, patent, trademark, and copyright also we need to consider here. Third one is making contacts, inquiries from interested overseas buyers, checking buyers background from the ECIC and or banks we can consider. And fourth one is quotation and terms. So it will be on making offers and quotation for potential buyers, and cost, quotation, and pro forma invoices and terms of sale. Fifth one is a sales contract. So confirming the sales contract and terms of transactions such as payment terms. Next one is contract execution. We know that the producing or sourcing goods, packing and labeling, arranging shipment, preparing exports documentation, and final one is arranging insurance if necessary. So this is the process of contract execution. And next one is seventh one is customs clearance, arranging some export declaration and applying for export license where necessary. So this is the process of custom clearance. And eighth one is getting paid. Subject to the payment terms specified in the sales contract, the exporter should present the required documents to the relevant parties for payment. So what about the basic import procedures? The number one is setting market objectives. The setting market objectives on pricing and terms. Second one is sourcing products, identifying potential suppliers, sourcing channels for distribution mode. Third one is trade regulations, import regulations and equipments, and some of the requirements also we need to consider, and checking whether import license is required, and patent, trademark, and copyright here we need to consider. Fourth one is making contacts, sending inquiries to suitable suppliers. Fifth one is settling quotation and terms, analyzing the supplier's quotation and offers, cost and terms of sale. Sixth one is financing the purchase, preparing for working capital, type of financing and applications such as exporter credit to the other bank facilities. Seventh one is a sales contract, So confirming the sales contract under terms of transactions such as payment terms. Eighth one is preparing payment and insurance. The preparing payments and insurance is specified in sales contract. For example, when payment term is DBRC and submit the DBRC application to the issuing bank, when trade term is FOB, and arrange a cover note with an insurance company. Next one is the preparing insurance cover note and when necessary. Ninth one is acquiring goods. So receiving shipping advice and arrival notice, and receiving export documents from the exporter, collecting goods from the specified shipping company or forwarder. And tenth one is customs clearance. The arranging customs clearance and import declaration process we need to consider. So what are the basic outward processing procedures? Starting from the manufacturing base, and it has been merged with the setting up or liaising for overseas productions of facilities. Example, a joint venture partner. And second one is confirming contract. It will be on confirming the outward processing contract with the processing partner. Third one is transporting materials. So arranging shipment of the raw materials, parts or semi-manufacturers to the overseas processing partner, and arranging imports of the finished and semi-finished projects and some of the products. And fourth one is manufacturing completed, and further processing the products into the final end product, and inspecting the finished or semi-finished products, and arranging exports of final products to the some of the country. And fifth one is preparing payment, and we know that preparing payments of the processing fee to the overseas processing center. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the session. Thank you once again, and thank you all.